What's going on, YouTube? This is BBSP. I know it's been a while since I've been doing the videos and shit. But you know how life is. Like I said before, you got some clowns on here that live off of slandering people 24/7, slandering players that they don't like and shit. See, I don't do that. Like I said before, one more time. I'm a reactionary video. I react to certain shit, okay? And I could easily be on here, slandering the players, shitting on the players I don't like, having a problem, whining, bitching, crying about so-called stat pattern. I could do that shit every day, you know? And y'all know who I don't fuck with, I could be easily on here slandering these dudes 24/7, but I'm not petty like that. I don't do that shit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I realize, it's hard to make it in the league. At the end of the day, they professionals. I might have a problem with certain shit. A problem with a certain player and shit. But at the end of the day, goddamn it, I understand they're a profession. They out there busting their ass 24/7. So that's why I don't be out here slandering these dudes. Yeah, they got a lot of money. Yeah, they millionaires. But end of the day, they go out there and work, bust their ass 24/7. And once again, even though I don't agree with the shit, some of the shit, you understand? So, it's like that, you know what I mean? But I'm not on here to talk about that. Today it was a very sad day on this day 2 years ago. We lost a legend. We lost an all-time great in Kobe being Bryant. Feels like it happened yesterday, man. You know what I mean? 2 years, it don't feel like these 2 years done passed by within a blink of an eye. A lot of shit has happened since then, Like I said, man, we miss him. I definitely miss him, you know what I mean? Probably one of the most influential, impactful players in the league history, Kobe Bryant, man, he's like one of the all-time great, no worse than the third greatest Laker of all time. I have him behind Magic and Kareem. What Magic and Kareem did for that franchise is unprecedented. You understand? But after them, it's Kobe hands down. You can make an argument for Wilt. You can make an argument for Jerry West. You can make an argument for guys like Gail Goodrich, Elgin Baylor. But after Magic Kareem, you gotta say Kobe is that. I remember the hype and hoopla Kobe got. Lower Marion High School. Coming out of college. Sorry about that. Coming out of Lower Marion High School. Because then a year before, Kevin Garnett made an impact of being one of the, high publicity, the hype, being highly touted in coming out of high school, Of course, you had a lot of high school players coming out, making an impact in the pros, I got to think the names. Moses Malone was one of them. Spencer Hayward, of course. Sean Kemp. Then you had guys like Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett, he was highly touted out of college, but Kobe Bryant, he definitely lived up to the hype coming out. Even though I feel like his impact early on wasn't all that on the level of, let's say, of Kevin Garnett or LeBron James or Moses Malone, because those three right there definitely have an argument for the greatest prep the pro, high school players of all time. But at the same time, you gotta look. Kobe put in the hard work. Kobe busted his ass and busted his balls to become great. You know, that first year he came off the bench because he went to a deep Lakers squad, man, a deep Lakers squad. You understand? He went to basically became a six-man overnight. Definitely became a six-man overnight. And for me, you can tell he wanted to be somebody special. He wanted to have that impact. He definitely wanted to have that impact. As to the point where, yeah, this guy's gonna be one of the most dominant players in the league. Rookie year, slam dunk champion. Didn't have that much. Like I said, didn't have that much impact as far as actual putting up rookie numbers and shit. Because then you got to think that was a deep Lakers squad, man. Not only Shaq came over that year, you had Eddie Jones, you had Nick Van Exel, you had Cedric Sabalos, and you had Chanel Three Steele, you had Eldon Campbell. That was a deep Lakers squad, man. You know what I mean? And the fact that Kobe cracked as a six man is a testament to his greatness. He had long story short, during that rookie campaign, it didn't end pretty well. He had that tumultuous air balls and shot them 3 straight possessions with 3 air balls and everything. But you knew, yeah, this guy, he gonna come back from this. He definitely gonna come back from this and be great. And you could tell, stylistic wise, game wise, his game more than anybody reflected Michael Jordan's. You had everybody coming in being touted as the next Michael Jordan. From Al Miner to Grant Hill to Anthony Penny Hardaway. But the dude that actually came the closest as far as style, as far as flair, and mentality approach to the game, that was definitely Kobe that came the closest to mimicking Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? As a couple years went by, man, him and Shaq became the most dominant duo in the league, y'all know, and delivered yet another Laker dynasty, to the NBA. They three-peated, even though Shaq was the most dominant player on that team, man, I feel like Kobe established himself as the greatest Robin of all time. Hands down, the greatest Robin of all time in that period, man. You could case, the three-peat, the last championship of the three-peat, 2002, you can make a case it's possibly 1A. It was possibly 1 and 1A, as far as that goes, because you got to think, yeah, Shaq was still dominant, but around 2002, 2003, Kobe was starting to come into his own. You could tell he took his game to the next level, especially in that game in 2002 where he scored 52 points against the Memphis Grizzlies. In a game where Shaq missed due to injury, as you could tell, he's gonna be he's definitely one of the top 5 players in the NBA at that time. So for that, because long story short, him and Shaq started to have problems. Him and Shaq started to have, issues. Everybody knows what the hell happened. And it eventually led to them parting ways. Parting ways and shit. You know what I mean? And after that, for me, I didn't particularly agree at all to how Kobe handled the situation. I didn't agree with what Kobe did at all with the situation, man. But then again, I kind of understood But at the same time, I didn't agree with how he handled the situation. You know, like it came a point to where Shaq and Kobe no longer could see eye to eye, and the Lakers in the summer traded summer 2004 traded Shaq to the Miami Heat, and by that time, you know, summer 2004, Kobe was on his own. Kobe had to reinvent his career. You know, it was had some rough patches too. You know, and 2004, 2005 was pretty much an injury-riddled year. After that, 2005, 2006, he started to really, really come into his own. 2005, 2006, because the game, well, you could tell, yeah, he started, you know, he's coming. And he's putting his handprint on his team when he scored 62 points in 3 quarters against the Dallas Mavericks. That was probably that particular season as to where, yeah, this guy's the best player in the NBA. You know, he had that 62 in 3 quarters, and then a month later, he scored 81 points. You know what I mean? And that 2005-2006 season, if the Lakers had a slightly better record, I think hands down he should have won MVP because he had the highlights, he had the facial slams, he had it all that year, you know. And basically that was it, man. You know, Kobe had arrived, you know, and he came this close. He came this close, you know. That competitive fire, that competitive edge sometimes got the best of him. That kind of got the best of him in that series against the Phoenix Suns when they were up 3-1. But that's a quality, you know, that a couple years down the line he would learn to taper as Phil Jackson came back and coached the team, you know. But 2 years later, they finally got a team that was able to compete for a championship, you know. Yeah, they made the finals in 2008 and lost, but you could tell, yeah, the Lakers winning the title next year. You know, Kobe's leadership, Kobe's commitment, and Kobe had matured. And them 2009, 2010 championships for Kobe Bryant is like, it defined his legacy. It defined his all-time standard, you know. And it made him, you know what I mean, Kobe Bryant, when he won those back-to-back championships, that put him in the upper echelon of the all-time greats. Top 10 player of all time, hands down. And the second greatest shooting guard in the history of the league, you know. You know, later on in the years, Kobe, you know, had a chance to three-peat, but that team got old as, you know, that team had gotten old. Gasol got long in the tooth. Lamar Odom got long in the tooth. Andrew Bynum was eminently checked out. Derek Fisher got long in the tooth, and Phil Jackson was on his way out the door. And the next couple of years after that, Kobe started to decline and everything, you know what I mean? And in 2013, you can still make a case that he was a top 5 player in the NBA. Because that season, man, he basically, even though it was perceived to be a super team, you had Dwight Howard struggling with injuries. Steve Nash kind of declined, and Ron Artest, aka Meta World Peace, wasn't the same player he was. So Kobe had to put the team on his back again on a nightly basis. But you know, unfortunately for him, he suffered an Achilles injury doing that. And I think that Achilles injury pretty much took away any remnants of a dominant Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? Because that Achilles injury, you know, a credit to him, he came back from it, but you can tell after that he really wasn't the same player he was the previous 9 years, you know what I mean? But 2016, man, you know what I mean? That's probably the greatest last game by all-time great in history. You know, 60 points. Everything he shot up there went in like it was nothing. You know, like it was vintage. It was that game, that last final game where he scored 60 points. That was vintage Kobe Bryant right there, man. Vintage Kobe Bryant and shit, you know. But it still feel like yesterday that happened, man. And the NBA, basketball, the world ain't the same without number 8, number 24 in it, man. You know, the Black Mamba will forever be missed, and he will forever live in our memories, especially mine. You know, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what y'all think. Peace out.